90-something degrees.
You know what I say to that?
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Fuck that indeed. No, that was not fun to do. Moving is not fun, especially moving people that, have a family.
You
have
a
lot
family?
of stuff.
It's been a while.
Yeah, Aaron
It
Lewis?
has been a while.
I stopped on the way home and I got cones, guys. We're good. We're set for cones.
I was worried.
46 packs.
Did you get ice cream to go with those?
No. Weed, though.
Oh!
And then you get the fancy weed and it comes in the jars.
Ooh.
This is for daytime. These are for nighttime.
Nighttime stuff help you sleep?
Supposedly, even though I don't sleep anymore for some reason. I used to.
I need to pick up some more CBD gummies to help me sleep.
Why don't you pick up more of those weed gummies to help you sleep? Yeah.
I'm afraid of taking weed.
Don't be afraid of taking weed.
Taking weed?
Do it with your friends someday. We'll all get together. We'll all take some weed together.
Take some weed together. Cody, you gonna take some weed?
I mean, I guess we're friends, aren't we?
Cody, turn up your volume.
You turn up your volume.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
His volume was up, but he just wasn't talking. He was listening.
Yeah.
Enjoying our conversation about the weeds.
About the weeds.
Your brother does the weeds, right?
A little bit. He dabbles in the weed.
He's a weed dabbler.
He's a weed dabbler. He was talking about getting.
Weed dabbler.
He was actually on our way home from my sister's. He was talking about some sort of possibly getting something that it vaporizes the weed.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you guys like stuff. You like weird things.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure you know
stuff.
what he's talking about.
Yeah,
yeah, though. Like you pair it's like some because he also likes e-cigs, so I imagine it's something like that you stick a little bit of the bud in, and then it like vaporizes it and you smoke it that way. I don't know what that is. That's how he described it, and I was like, cool. Whatever.
Tell him to do it, and then I'll come over and visit.
That's the only way, though.
That's the only way that he can come over?
I'm gonna come over and visit only if there's a weed vaporizer and a canoe.
Well, I mean, we have a canoe, a kayak, so
That's
basically it's a canoe.
What's the difference between a kayak and a canoe?
I think how many people it can sit.
Oh. I don't think that's right.
I'm pretty sure that is right.
No, I think it's a boat design.
Yeah, but that's how many people it can sit.
No, because there's a kayak is a flat bottom, where a canoe is a
Yeah, and how many people can you fit into a kayak?
At least one.
One.
Yeah.
And how many people you fit in a canoe?
At least one.
And then more.
There's multiple person kayaks too.
There's like 2 at max. You put more in there, and then it basically is canoe.
See, that's just you fidgeting. It's not right.
You're whatever word you just made up. Got some kind of word of the day calendar going there? Fidgeting?
Calendar?
Yeah. Word of the day calendar.
Excuse you, it's an app, not a calendar.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It's word of the day notification. The word today is fidget.
Fidgeting.
Fidget. Can you use that as a sentence, please? Yes, you be fidgeting.
See?
You be fidgeting up.
You be fidgeting up. I'm tired of all these people fidgeting over here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's fantastic. Keep going.
About to drop a hard F.
Yo, you know how to play poker?
I have been known to dabble in poker.
I want to play poker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you do that sometime?
I bought an old Xbox game. I don't think it's new enough to play friends on it, but we should find one. We can play online.
You know how old that game has to be not to be able to have friends on?
It looks really fucking old, bro. I don't know for sure. All I know is I played it for a few hours last night. I won 0 games. I'm not good at poker, so I gotta get good at fake poker and understand what I'm doing before I start playing real life poker. I've seen rounders too many times, and I really just want to be rounders.
If you saw rounders enough, wouldn't you know how to play poker?
No, they don't teach you how to do it. They just teach you how to fucking pick up on
Tells.
tell and to beat Russian Oreo eaters.
That's what Mike got out of that movie.
I want to play poker like Maverick. You just don't see your cards.
You don't look.
You don't look because you're that badass.
You're that
Magic.
Like that.
that cheating son of a bitch deal from the top of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Spoiler alert: his dad is James Gardner.
Who is the original Maverick?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, that was just Maverick continues.
It's true.
All those things probably happened on the show.
So funny story about that, right? So I don't know if you guys ever. Well, I mean, Mike may have seen the Maverick TV show,
More than I should have. Yeah.
but the Maverick TV show isn't all about Brett. It's also about Bert. So the names interchange. So Maverick doesn't really refer to one of them. It refers to the family. So in the show, you could be with Bert or you could be with Brett. And it just goes back and forth. So it kind of plays into the movie where Maverick's more of a moniker, like James Bond is, to that family. So it was kind of like a callback to the TV show as well, and especially when she calls him Bert and Brett at the same time, at different times.
Oh.
It's referring back to the brothers who are Brett and Bert. And there's a third one too, and I can't remember his name.
Gary.
It might be Gary. Let's look
Bert,
it up.
Brett and Gary. Gary Maverick.
I'm Gary.
Gary Maverick.
I'm Gary.
That's how he says it too. He's a fucking loser. In poker.
There's
But
Brett.
Texas Hold'em. I want to get. I've always wanted to be good at it, right? Since it blew up, was in like 2003 or whatever, when it kind of blew up.
Yeah.
When it was at its peak of popularity, I was always super fascinated by it, and I really liked it. But like, I was just a kid, and I don't know what the fuck I was doing, right? So I played it. Like, I remember having a video game, and I played the video game, and I was like, kind of understood the rules, but not really. And then it kind of went away, but it's still on like weird channels late at night, and I'll get caught watching it. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I like it. I want to get good at it, and something tells me that it's gonna make a comeback soon. I feel like we're that perfect time frame where something big is gonna happen in the poker world, and it's gonna like light it back up, and it's gonna come back into mainstream pretty soon, and everyone's gonna be wanting to play it, and I want to be fucking good at it I want to be ready. A shark in the water, circling injured swimmers, ready to bite. Or be good at poker. One of those two things. I want one of those two things to happen.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Yep.
I mean, we could do poker night. I used to do poker night years ago.
Let's do it.
Mostly ended up getting drunk on White Russians.
I'm okay with that too. It's been a while since I had a White Russian. Let's do all of these things. I'll bring cigars.
Oh, we used to do that too. Yeah, cigars and White Russians.
White Russians, and poker.
And poker. Yeah,
Nothing says man shit like that.
that's what I used to do.
He used to do
You
man
used to do
shit.
Man shit.
Man
Used to do
type
man
shit
shit.
type shit.
Now what do you do?
Yikes.
Nothing.
He goes,
Depression? I don't know. Is that a thing?
yeah, that's a fun one, right?
Yeah.
I picked that up along the way too, somewhere.
Yeah, right?
Yikes.
Hmm.
So there are 3 brothers and a cousin in Maverick.
Okay.
So they are Brett, Bart, and then Brent is the third brother, and then Bo is the cousin.
Oh, Bo. Fuck. Nope. I was gonna make a reference, and now I don't remember what it was.
Bo knows.
No, not Bo Jackson.
Bo Dallas.
Yeah, from
Bo
Dallas.
Leaf?
From Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there also Bo and either Smoking the Bandit or shit, the one with the racist car?
Dukes of Hazzard?
Dukes of Hazzard. There we go.
My first reaction was Knight Rider. I was like, "Is Kid racist?" I was like, "I don't remember him saying racist shit."
Wasn't there Bo in Dukes of Hazzard? Bo
and Luke Duke.
Yeah, Bo and Luke Duke. Yeah, there we go. It's all related.
Some good old boys.
Yep. Good old boys.
Never meeting us for harm.
Sean William Scott and
law and jump over the thing and
been in trouble with the law. Just making their way. Oh, sorry. I thought we were gonna keep going.
No. I sang the song. I don't know where you were.
I keep getting an alert on my phone that I'm on a FaceTime call on my computer. I'm like, yeah.
Because you can pick up the call and move it to your phone if you want to, because it's like, cool. Hey, speaking of which, Joe, I figured out a very big flaw in Sidecar.
Uh-oh. What?
So if you close Sidecar, apps that are in that crash.
Crash? They don't get transferred over?
I had the news open in the Sidecar when we were doing this last time, using that, and then when I got done, I closed the iPad. I closed Sidecar out on the computer, closed the iPad, and ever since then, every time I open my computer, the news app crashes.
Well, it's because it's stuck on your iPad.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So, but I closed Sidecar before I closed the iPad.
Yeah, that's because it got stuck over there. Like, haven't you seen Wreck-It Ralph and stuff? Like, all those characters got over to your iPad, and you shut it off. And they couldn't come back over.
Is that the problem? I severed the internet.
So you have to let them back over to your computer first by basically shutting the program down over there first.
But you can't.
Then,
but I
comes back over to
dumb.
your computer.
That's stupid.
Or you drag it back over to your computer from instead of being on your iPad, so that all the characters over there that are writing all the stories and shit, don't get trapped over there.
That seems stupid.
That makes right. No, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
Because every time you tried to open it, your computer was like, there's no little people here to.
There's no little people here.
Create the content for you. They're all stuck on your iPad. Let them out.
They could stay there.
It's like the show Reboot.
Oh no. Oh no. Like the show Reboot.
Yep. You remember in that show how it never really made sense, the fact that like the user would like play a game, and so they'd have a cube come down, and if the user won the game, then for some reason it like decimated that part of the city for some reason. Like somehow playing a game actively like ruins your computer.
I mean, it's very odd. Like you can see like your day being interrupted because all of a sudden you get transferred into being an NPC in a rando game of some sort. But having your city destroyed because of it seems like that's not good.
Yeah, it's like teaching kids like, hey, if you play games on your computer, you're like slowly ruining your computer.
But no, not the computer, just the computer simulated world that's inside there.
Yes.
So fuck those people. They're not even real.
No, they're not real. They're just NPCs. Fuck them.
Boom. Kind of like that one movie with Deadpool in it.
Deadpool?
No, the other one.
Deadpool 2?
No, the other one.
Wolverine?
And Deadpool?
Ew. I hate both of you. I hate both of you so much.
I wanted to watch a good, I wanted to watch Wolverine kill people, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want to watch Logan because it's like heavy, I don't want to be sad. And I was like, what's the best movie to watch if you want to watch Wolverine do his stuff? Was it Wolverine? I know
Yeah.
the movie's not good, but it's got some good action sequences in that one.
Is that the one with the train?
Where he goes to Japan, right?
Yeah, it's the one where he goes to Japan.
Yeah, because that was almost rated R until the ending was just garbage. But yeah, it's the best
Yeah,
one.
that ending was confusing, but
Yeah, that might be the best movie to watch for him to just go around killing people.
Yeah, for sure.
his X-Men 2, he goes a little berserker, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
They had to play it safe then.
And Origins wasn't good.
Origins was bad, and I don't think I saw the one after Days of. I don't think I saw anything after Days of Future Past.
Don't worry, you're not missing much.
But I don't know if he was in the. He was in one of them, right?
Age of Apocalypse. He was in.
Yeah, he was in Age of Apocalypse because he was the main character, wasn't he?
No, Days of Future Past. He was in.
Or no, Days. Oh yeah, that's the time travel one,
Yeah.
right?
Yup.
No,
No,
Days of-
Apocalypse was the time travel one that he was the main character in, wasn't it?
okay, then I didn't see that one. I
No?
saw Days of Future Past. That was the Kevin Bacon one.
Yeah. No, Kevin Bacon's is first class.
Yeah, First Class is the
yeah,
one
you're
you're
right.
talking
Okay,
about.
so I
Days of
saw
Fu- that's
First
what I'm trying to
Class.
think. Which one is Age of Apocalypse is obviously the one where Apocalypse happens. Age of Future. Okay, yeah, Age of Future Past is the time travel one
With
Okay, so I
with
haven't
Wolverine
seen
as the main.
with Wolverine as the main
Yeah,
character.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen two X-Men movies. How weird is that? I haven't seen Days of Future Past or the fucking.
because those two got
Apocalypse.
released. Were the well, I say the last two, but some of the last two movies that were released in the what's
Bryan
the
Singer?
director of those? Yeah, of those movies, and they just weren't good
No.
at all.
No, they were not.
I didn't go see them, so I am saying that these movies weren't good, even though I haven't seen them. But
Seems like a fair statement.
yeah,
Seems correct.
because you guys did. Well, Cody, I think, went and saw both of them, didn't you?
I
Or have
saw.
seen both of them.
I've seen both. I saw Days of Future Past in the theater and was highly disappointed, like I knew I would be. And then once I saw the trailer for Age of Apocalypse, I was like, nope, not gonna do it. I'll wait for that
Yeah.
shit to come out on streaming somewhere. And I did, and I was just as disappointed.
Yeah.
Just laughs.
Wait, wasn't there also a Dark Phoenix movie?
Yeah, it was trash too.
Oh, so there were three.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
Well, nothing.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I mean that's
Because you
actually
haven't seen them.
yeah. I actually haven't seen that one either.
Yeah.
Because there was no need to.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Hey, you know what I've been watching lately?
Nope.
It's been really weird.
Okay.
I've been watching it late at night after I'm a little buzzed and I laugh a little easier.
Uh-oh.
And you guess it's old TV show.
Frasier.
Old TV shows that you can laugh when you're buzzed. Three's Company.
Older than that. Almost
Older than
the
that.
oldest TV show ever.
Oh my God.
Honeymooners?
What's that? What's that? That black and white western your dad likes watching, Cody?
Which one? There's let's see. There's The Marshal, Lawman, Stagecoach.
Stagecoach. Yeah. Isn't that the one
Rawhide.
that was
No,
filmed out towards Arizona, in between Arizona and California?
I think so, but I've been not watching. I've been watching I Love Lucy,
Oh.
bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
I remember it being funny at times.
Like, okay, so I was watching, because like you'll see the clips will pop up every now and then, and that clip of Lucy and Ethel at the chocolate factory
Mm-hmm.
popped up the other day, and I was laughing so hard, like it's so goddamn funny, and it started making me think. I was like, "Fuck, that was a long time ago." So I googled when the show started. Show started in like 51 or 52, and that scene is from season 2.
Damn.
So something like that was legitimately that funny. I was like, that's weird. And I just Googled or YouTube like funny I Love Lucy clips just to see if like other, and like I watched a few clips. I was like, dude, all of these are really funny. They hold up like oddly well for it being fucking 70 years ago.
Yep.
And so I was doing some research, And so, like 51 or 52, I can't remember. Apparently, there was only one other sitcom to be on TV before that, and I can't remember the name of that one. But it was. I don't think it was like a comedy. I don't know. But watching, you would think, hey, this 70-year-old TV show, it's a sitcom. It's a 30-minute comedy. But you watch it, and it's essentially exactly the same as every 30-minute sitcom now. Like, it hits all the beats. It doesn't, like, outside of the fact that it's, it's old, because one, it's black and white. The settings, obviously, the clothes are all super old. But, like, the dialogue is not that old outside of the fact that they're really mean to women in it.
Right.
Outside of that, like, their normal conversations feel like dialogue that you can get away with today. They're not as overacty as I was thinking they were going to be. They play it pretty grounded. They play it pretty real. And I started thinking, they really just made the first fucking successful sitcom and never changed the formula after that. Like, outside of, like, small changes with, like, some of the British shows influence coming over and doing, like, slight, multicam to single cam kind of shit. But outside of that, it's the same. It's exactly the same as TV you watch today. It kind of blew my mind. I was expecting it to be, like, so different that it was, like, hard to watch. But if you could, like, same set pieces, same ideal, and kind of reshoot them shot for shot today, and almost the same dialogue, you can get away with it today. It's fucking weird, man.
It is a weird thing that you for me, like, when I think about those old timer movies, or even shows, you do think that there has to have been, like, a different way people spoke back then, even in different accents and whatnot. But I used to watch little bits of I Love Lucy, or even like I Dream of Jeannie and stuff like that.
On Nick at Night.
On Nick at Night, yeah, exactly. So yeah, you could definitely remake some of those shows and it'd be pretty much the same. I looked it up to see what was the first the first sitcom to be broadcast on TV, and it's a show called Mary Kay and Johnny. Aired from 1947 to 1950. Apparently, it was the first show to show a couple sharing a bed, and also to show a woman's pregnancy on TV.
Oh Lord!
Scandalous.
Wild, right?
Wild, seriously.
How dare you?
Right. But from there, it looks like, yeah, the next one was I Love Lucy, followed by, like, Andy Griffith, or no, followed by, some of these are out of order. The Honeymooners? Yeah.
Yeah, Honeymooners.
So it's pretty interesting.
I would just really suspected that things would have been, like, drastically different on TV. It's not.
Well, especially for such a new medium at the time, you wouldn't think that people would put much money into it, that it would have to be super cheap, in order to get some of those sets done.
Lucy and Ethel are the star. Like, I've only watched like 3 episodes, and I had never seen a full episode before. They're the stars of that show. Like, it's a woman-led show. Like, it's. I was thinking, like, I don't know why I had this thing in my head that, like, women were, like, treated stupid on TV before, or, like they.
Well, because at times they were, and
I know they were, but it was like, Lucy is definitely the fucking funniest, smartest, best actor on that show, and has the best lines, and it's like, oh, this is her. Like, it was just
that's because it was, like, Lucille Ball's show, if I recall right.
Yeah,
like, she was the one that really drove it.
Yeah.
I'm looking,
but it kind of makes me wonder, like, how we went off track with that.
Men.
At some point.
Men.
Well, yeah, but also it's showbiz, and showbiz will. The one thing you can guarantee showbiz is gonna do is copy what worked in the past, and so for one of the, like, the first, like, hugely successful sitcom to be a woman-led, about a woman and mostly about her friend, and not, like, the husband being a third or fourth character in most of those episodes. It's just wild that, like, we kind of got, like, to a point where women weren't the stars of anything for like a long time after that. And now it's like a big deal when like a funny woman gets a lead on her own show, and it's like, oh, now you know you have to watch it because it doesn't happen very often. And it's like, it was the first fucking thing that worked. Like how is this not like the mainstream always doing a thing?
I mean, not to get into more political things, but like Cody said, like in general, men, like you even take a look at the early years of video games, like a lot of large amount of video game developers back in the what would be the late 70s, early 80s, and stuff like that were women. A lot of them were,
Huh.
and you see it now as a very male centric thing, and a lot of people see it now as a very male centric thing, and that ties down to money. When the people that were trying to promote these things looked at stuff, they had to ask, okay, where do we put these game consoles? Do we put these in the boys section, or do we put these in the girls section? And it ultimately was like, well, boys will enjoy, you know, violent games and this and that so much better than girls. Girls don't know anything, so they marketed it all towards boys, and they put it all the like games and stuff in the boys section. And so that's how we get this culture of like video games are only for boys and stuff, when in actuality a lot of early developers were women. You know, so there's a lot of examples where there is like this some new medium that a lot of women do get involved in and do thoroughly enjoy, but it just gets completely run over by men.
This is wild.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I Love Lucy's fucking dope though. You guys should watch it every now and then.
Well, like I said, I used to watch it.
Definitely not I can't sit there and binge it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll be like watching an episode every night or like every other night. I'll, you know, slowly work my way through it. Then I didn't know this at all. So I had to Google it too from watching the episode. It's the third episode of season 1. They go to Ricky's work because, you know, he's like a lounge singer guy or whatever, and he does Cuban Pete.
Oh,
and
nice.
I didn't know. I only knew that from The Mask.
Yeah, right.
And I go, holy shit! And the guys in the background are wearing the same clothes that The Mask was wearing. I was like, this shit's fucking wild. And then so I Googled it. I was like, hey, like Google, what the fuck, Cuban Pete? I was like, Mask musical, I Love Lucy ? Or something. I was like, I didn't Google very well. And they're like, oh, a lot of people think it's an homage to I Love Lucy, but in 1946 there was a movie called Cuban Pete. I was like, holy shit, I Love Lucy ripped it from Cuban Pete. And then The Mask, probably you could see like some of the dancing and everything, definitely I Love Lucy influence, but like also came from that original 1946 thing. I was like, this shit that came out in 1995 was just a big bite from a movie that came out in 1946. And now I'm wondering, if I keep watching I Love Lucy, how many other things in pop culture it influenced later on.
Oh, I'm sure tons.
I'm sure a shit ton.
I know I've seen
And
stuff
now
like
I'm
that in
upset
like
that I have to know
Futurama
these
and
things.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Now I'm upset.
Now I'm upset. I thought these things originated from the things I saw. Turns out, no.
There is no such thing as an original idea, Mike.
Legit.
You go
Movies
back
in
to
the 90s
those
are
things,
just
and those things
stupid.
are just referencing something from like the 1930s, 1920s, and those things that are in the 1930s and 20s are just referencing
Why are we
stuff from the
complaining about
1900s.
unoriginal Hollywood today?
Because no one remembers shit, Mike. There's there is this idea of like nothing existed before I existed type of idea.
There's gonna, in a couple years, another movie is gonna do a whole Cuban Pete fucking musical number, and people are like, holy shit, remember when The Mask did it first?
Exactly, right?
Mike is discovering what nostalgia is, in the reverse order.
Yeah, right?
Because he didn't live through the I Love Lucy era, and is now discovering that it has all these outreaching things going towards the stuff that he loves, and he's like, oh wait, reverse nostalgia. I don't know how to process.
Yeah, it's confusing to me. My brain hurts. It makes me doubt everything that I like. I'm like,
Where should I have it begun? Now I need you to find like what inspired Cuban Pete, the movie, and watch that. Or find it. Maybe it wasn't something you could watch. Maybe it was a play or something at that point in time.
probably a radio show.
A radio show, exactly.
Or maybe it's both.
What a twist.
Dun dun dun. There was somebody on the original show. Oh no, okay. Last name was Oppenheimer. It was like, holy shit, was that person related to J. Robert Oppenheimer? It's a
Maybe.
very weird name to just have, but it doesn't look like it. It was Jess Oppenheimer.
I mean, it's just in general not a common name.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, we only know Oppenheimer because of the guy, the inventor himself. There's a lot of
the physicist. But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's really weird that to have that exact name Oppenheimer and not necessarily be related to J. Robert Oppenheimer or Robert J. Oppenheimer.
whatever his name is.
Anyway, whatever.
Anywho. Oh God.
You guys see that Microsoft might be able to buy Activision?
Hell yeah,
now?
bro.
Like you're so excited about it.
Sorry.
I'm like I said before, I'm excited about it in the sense that they're just going to dump all those games onto Game Pass, and I happen to have Game Pass, so it's like, yeah, I could play fucking all the Call of Duties for free, and what else does Blizzard do they make that's good? I don't know.
Diablo.
I said good.
Oh man.
Burn. Hey. I know.
Wow.
I know. I'm being intentional.
I almost bought the new Diablo.
I'm being intentionally a dick.
I'd never played Diablo before, and I was like, I'm gonna get into Diablo.
I mean, it is a multiplayer game. That could be our multiplayer game to play.
Nobody liked it, I guess.
Well, no, people like the new Diablo. It was the previous one that nobody liked. Diablo 2, right?
Diablo 3.
Diablo 3 is what's out. Well, Diablo 3 is out now.
No, Diablo 4 is out now.
4 is out now. 3 people didn't like 3 because of the loot. God, what was it? That was a while ago. Something about basically it was a pay-to-win game at that point.
Yeah. Well, people are upset with the new one because as the new season starts, you have to start a new character.
Oh, seriously? That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to people?
Bro, I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing into it, but
technically, to be fair, technically you're not wrong. Every time Destiny comes out with a new season, you basically are starting from zero. But you're basically zeroing out where you're at, though, or where they perceive you should be at by the time you get to this DLC,
or somewhere near it, yeah.
Or somewhere near it. So yeah, you technically are now your level is now the base level for what will be generated after that. But I'm guessing what you're saying though is you're literally creating a new character, so you have to find new weapons, new gear, new
skills,
level up your health and this and that. That's bullshit.
From what I read, I don't know if that's true because I never looked into it, but yeah.
Hopefully it's not true because that would be total bullshit. I'd rather just start with the gear I have because I know it, I have it, it's fun to play with, and then upgrade that stuff from there because now I have a new level cap to go through. But that's just me. I don't know.
It's true.
But there still is like they lost the court case. I say they won the court case. I should say they won the court case here in the United States. There apparently still is like the option for the FTC to appeal, but usually they don't appeal these cases. And the European Union is the only other possible stumbling block for them, but even they're open to like, hey, just make sure you do these few things, and we'll let the sale go through. So
Yeah, it has to finalize by technically it has to be finalized by the 18th, but that just has to be hey, it's all solidified and ready to go by the 18th. Not that it has to close by the 18th, because obviously a $63 billion purchase or whatever is not going to be, bank transferred overnight.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like they, I don't know how much Mike knows about what was going down, but basically PlayStation was the head architect of shutting this down because they feared Call of Duty would be pulled from PlayStation. So as a sign of good faith, I guess you could say, Xbox went out, well, Microsoft in general, but Xbox went out and said, hey, this is our plan. We're going to sign a contract with all console manufacturers and platforms, that includes cloud platforms, to bring Call of Duty in its entirety for cross-play capabilities to every platform. So
this
that
includes the
Switch, the PlayStation, the Xbox, PC, Steam, all those ones you could get it through, including if Stadia,
we're still around.
We're still a thing.
Rip.
Yeah, and then because there's other ones too. I can't remember the name of them. Besides Microsoft's
Probably
cloud,
NVIDIA Shield and stuff like
yeah,
that.
Yeah. So like, because of that, that's kind of like what Microsoft is using. Is like we're not looking to pull any of these, and PlayStation tried to say that like Starfield was originally going to be a PlayStation exclusive game, even though there was never actually a signed agreement with it. And then it became, once Bethesda was purchased, it was then announced that it was going to be a Xbox exclusive, even though it's not, because it's going to go to PC, but not.
Yeah, but PC still is technically Microsoft.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was supposed to be more. It was supposed to be multi-platform.
Yeah.
And then once they bought out Bethesda, Jesus Christ, too many companies with a B name that they were like, yeah, we're just going to lock this to Xbox and PC.
And the reasoning behind that wasn't because they wanted to snuff PlayStations, because they didn't want to try to make they didn't want to try to port it, but it was too massive of an undertaking to make a third version of it, because they're building essentially two different versions of the game. There's a PC version and an Xbox version, or console version as they said, and because there's no crossplay, no multiplayer, they don't have to worry about them working together. They just built a core game and then are building out the platform for each of them. And they originally were going to do multiples, and then they decided to obviously focus on the ones that, well, I guess in-home would be, which is going to be Windows and Xbox. So, but yeah. It's very interesting, and it's also interesting that like Xbox is saying they're going to make the same game of Call of Duty available on all platforms, including streaming platforms, cloud platforms, and the Switch, when it takes up so much space and hardware capability.
That's the one that gets
things.
Me, and is one of those I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it type things, where like, oh, we're gonna port it to Switch. That's very kind of you to say that, sir.
Yeah.
That's not possible. The only way I can see that being possible to technically fall within their statement of this is if they somehow are able to release the Xbox app on the Switch. And
for the cloud gaming?
Stream your version of Call of Duty onto the Switch. That's the only real way that I can see them doing that, because I mean honestly they truly could take the approach of building from ground up a version of Call of Duty, or each Call of Duty for the Switch.
I mean,
I don't see them doing that, because that's a lot more involved in basically remaking all these games for the Switch, because you know that they're not just going to be able to just like turn down some sliders and just be like, now everything is a lot, takes up a lot less space, and it doesn't have to run with such graphical fidelity and or stuff like that. That's not going to happen. It's going to have to be like a streaming thing. Yeah.
I mean, Fortnite did it.
Fortnite is not a graphically hard game to run, though, because my phone can run Fortnite.
Well, it's because the phone one and the Switch one are very similar, and how they do the graphics, because the engine is software based versus hardware based.
Mm-hmm. But it's a lot, in my mind, and obviously we're not game developers or anything, but it is a much more simple game to run. They're not running like high resolution textures and stuff like that. I don't.
You should probably look at the game again, Joe.
Well, yeah, but it's a much more cartoony game. I get
some part,
that there is some high fidelity elements to it, but it is still a lot more simplistic game than running like a Call of Duty, which has probably a lot more like particle effects, and has a lot more other physics stuff going on in the background. That's all I'm saying. It is a lot more graphically intensive game to run. That's why every time you boot it up, it's like, hold on, I'm loading a 80 gigabyte file of textures.
I mean, they're very true. It's definitely not going to have the same look that a PS5 or a Series X would have.
Right. And so they definitely have to go through, and it's not just like a slider that they can just turn down and be like, oh, less textures, less this, less physics, less that, less, something that they're going to have to tune into the Switch, and you're going to have to remake some of those things specifically for that hardware. It's not just something that you're just, because what does the Switch have in it? I don't even. It's got an NVIDIA Tegra processor, Tegra 2 or something like that in it. Like it's a different architecture than an Xbox, than a PlayStation. So they almost have to make it from semi ground up, porting over stuff that they can, in order to actually make that version. That's all I'm saying, is like doing that, which is going to be a much more person intensive thing versus, it doesn't actually render on your Switch. Your Switch is basically just the screen that it uses. You just have to have a good Wi-Fi connection.
Essentially an emulator.
Is so much, not even an emulator, because you're not running it on the Switch. Your Switch is just a screen for it. So it's running on a server, you're just playing it on screen. That is so much easier to do. And that is what I'm saying, is like, that would be what I think is their intent to do.
Oh, you're probably right. It's probably going to be like, hey, you need it.
It falls within the other category of streaming services as well.
It's true. I just don't know. I mean, I would never play Call of Duty on my Switch anyways. Well, handheld, I guess I could play it on the TV, but trying to like accurately see things on that tiny ass screen would be drastically different than watching it on my much larger screen. You know what I mean?
Very true, but at that point you already have your Xbox hooked up, so.
Yeah, I mean, I have an Xbox, so I mean, I would.
Xbox.
Yeah. Plus, if it's gonna be free,
it's on your Xbox.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is if it would they make it like, because the whole thing with Nintendo is like people want the Game Pass to be available on there, but it's not like they're gonna import all those games over to the Switch that are on there. I mean, there are a lot of crossover games, a lot of the newer indie style games, or indie developed games. I understand indie developed games are available on the Switch already. So that would just make them a subscription service available through the Switch versus, buying all those games separately just to play them on your Switch.
Yeah.
Which obviously would be great, but then wouldn't really help Nintendo other than, just another selling point.
Again, Microsoft's not out to help Nintendo.
No, they're definitely out there to help themselves because they want to make money, and things like that.
You know what I always say?
Fuck money, get bitches or something.
Yeah,
that's the ideal.
I wasn't expecting a follow up to that.
Oh wait, no,
It's
sorry.
a dog eat dog world.
Oh, you're saying is always going soft, right?
Grow inside.
Yeah,
That's true love there.
That's true love, baby.
that's the definition of true love, baby. uh, obviously, we last little bit we can talk about the announcement of the expansion of the Superman Legacy cast.
Yep.
Ooh, I didn't read about this.
So they announced
The
3
news
new cast members added to the movie.
Okay.
Actually, no. Well, actually, there was an announcement of 3, and then there was a 4th added the next day, I think it was. But it is basically. Let me see if I can pull up the article again. I don't know how to spell legacy. Oh, no, you can't type. That's the problem. I don't know how to spell
You're
it.
dumb.
Leag. No, wait, that's not how you do it. Damn it.
I just didn't type it right. I was like, hey, I'm going to spell this. So the biggest one for us, because we're fans of him, is Nathan Fillion has been cast as one of the Green Lanterns in the upcoming movie, which opens a lot of different things for that. But he's playing Guy Gardner, one of the early Green Lanterns, which is super rad, obviously. And I really hope they do put him in the bowl cut, because that would be hilarious.
So is this movie just gonna be a jokey bullshit movie then? Because that's the only time he uses Nathan Fillion for anything else.
Well, I don't think so, but I mean, it's hard to say, because the way they're going forward with this is Guy Gardner may not be like he's probably not the only Green Lantern we're going to see in the DCU, but he's early on, so he's not like a Hal Jordan stay. Like he's still a Green Lantern, but he's not. He's more of a team member than he is a standalone Green Lantern character. So I mean that's probably the biggest thing to come about that. But it's more likely he's gonna be the goofy Green Lantern more than the more serious, hardcore Green Lantern. If that makes any sense?
Yeah,
It does, but like, I know James Gunn is his buddy, but does he know he can actually act too?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering, because every time he's in a movie with him, it's a bullshit fucking role.
Well, he's also just cameoing in both of them too, unless you're talking about Slither, because then he was the star of Slither.
I'm talking like the superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad. I was all excited to see him in Suicide Squad. That was nothing.
That was nothing.
But yeah, Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah,
all those he just basically cameoed in.
Yeah.
Dickhead movie. Dickhead roles.
Dickhead rolls.
Stupid dickhead roles.
Stupid ass dickhead rolls. So they also cast a young lady actress to play Hawkgirl in it, so that's pretty cool. They also I'm trying to find her name before I list, because I don't remember her name. They also have an actor to play Mr. Terrific, which is pretty rad. And just
Merced? Is
yeah,
what you're talking about for Hawkgirl?
Yeah, yep, that's the one. And then the next day they announced that Metamorpho was casted as well on there too, so he could be obviously a villain on there. So the basically the reason they're bringing these up is I think in Superman Legacy these characters are going to be more cameo characters, and not because they're going to be goofy. Mike, I'm sorry. It's because he's building out the universe, and anybody who plays a character in one will be the same character across all properties. And because of the characters they chose, that could be leading down to a another group of people outside the Justice League, because they are members of like the Justice Society and things like that. So, and obviously the Green Lantern Corps, because he's definitely those. He does have to die though for Hal Jordan to take over. Technically, not technically. He could leave and they could create a new mantle or new ring for him.
So this is what's going to happen then, is that he's going to get like a cameo at the end of the movie, and he's going to die, and then the ring is going to transfer to Hal Jordan. And Mike is just going to be like, "Fuck you."
Exactly what's going to happen.
James Gunn.
Hey,
It's
so
going to die in the most bitch ass way too.
Oh, dude, I hate when cool people get dickhead deaths. I watched Suicide Squad 2 again the other day for the second time. The first time since it first came out.
Yeah.
And I had my problems with it the first time. I didn't understand why everybody liked it. And I have more problems with it my second time. I was
I
like,
thought this was going to be a switch around, honestly.
No, dude, I doubled down on not liking it. And I feel like I'm out of the loop because everyone else seemed to fucking love it. And I liked the first two Guardians a lot. You know, so it's not like I don't like James Gunn stuff. Like, I really like James Gunn stuff. But Suicide Squad 2 and Guardians 3, not massive fans of that movie. And I'm starting to think I might be a hater, and I don't want to be.
You're slowly becoming a hater, slowly putting on your hater pants, drinking your haterade.
Drinking my haterade, going up elevators.
Yeah.
And it's just, the fuck are they? I don't know. I'm frustrated with what they're doing. And now I'm like, after rewatching it, because now I know he's kind of taken over DC, and I'm like, I'm not gonna like anything DC for the next 20 years. I'm so bummed out that I'm gonna just fucking hate this shit, and I don't want to. I want to like everything Superman and Batman, but I feel like I'm not gonna enjoy it now. I'm a little worried. Talk me down, Cody. Why am I going down the wrong path here?
I mean, I can't come and say, hey, Mike, these are the facts. These are what you need to look at, because you make valid points, right? Like, when so far his track record in DC has been borderline not solid. I'll say that, right? Suicide Squad was fun, but it's like one of those things where, like, I don't know if it's all his fault or the fact that he's playing with a set of Legos and Lincoln Logs that were kind of crammed together to be one set.
Yeah, it wasn't a real set. He was taking bits and pieces. That's the vibe I got from the movie. That's honestly a really good way to put it.
Because I
felt like he crammed together a couple different movies to make that movie, and it felt clunky to me, and it felt like jokes were forced in, and it felt like the big climactic scene was just them all pointing a gun at a giant monster and not really interacting with it. And it seemed like a big letdown to me.
Well, you make a good point about the jokiness too, and I think that a lot of Marvel movies lend to the levity of some situations, especially the way the look of the movie is and the way they shoot the movie. But then you try and port that over to DC, and for one, it feels like you're just trying to copy Marvel in that like weird, quippy jokiness type of talking, and two, you're doing it in a backdrop of like some dude just got cut in half.
Yeah.
You know, and now you're just making a weird quip about it because, you know, ha ha ha, levity moment type of thing. I can definitely see what you're saying in those situations, that you shouldn't be chasing the same thing that Marvel does. But the problem is that that's for some reason what people want, even though they say they don't want it.
Yeah.
That's because people don't know what they want. They just want to complain about stuff.
Right, you know, the Superman's too dark, you know.
Yeah, when the Superman and Batman first started being a thing, I thought it was a nice contrast to.
Right, I want something more emotional and whatnot.
Yeah, fun things. I was like, let's DC be the darker, more like fucking drama.
I want to question my morals and stuff and whatnot. I want to see like a moral dilemma actually happen rather than just an ultimate battle between good and evil and, you know, or bright colors, essentially. You know, yeah, I get what you're saying.
And I'll point this though. So, and I don't think this is an arguable point, but I would venture to say, amongst the three of us, Winter Soldier and Civil War were two of our favorite movies in the MCU. Am I right to say that?
They were good movies, yeah.
Okay, so like they're definitely rewatchable for multiple reasons. That those two in particular, I feel, and I could be wrong. I'm not saying you feel this. I'm saying I feel this. those ones have the best balance of comedy, drama, and action in them of all the MCU movies.
No, I agree with that, because I don't look at those movies and I don't think of a single scene where like it felt like weird forced comedy or where weird quips being made or whatnot. Yeah, they were a little bit more darker and toned down movies because they were dealing with more serious situations and whatnot. Yeah.
And I know Mike is not a fan of it, but the Batman.
You didn't like the Batman?
He has lots of problems with the Batman.
So
one is
bro.
it's too long.
It's so fucking long.
I love that
But
movie.
the thing about that one is,
We'll talk when we're done with this.
Well,
that
no, I have to actually live my life after this, so
no, you don't. You live a life.
we'll continue some other time.
The Batman was, to me, the best way to do Batman because it felt more. Christopher Nolan, right? First Batman movie, arguably one of the best Batman movies of all time.
Yeah.
Problem with that movie is he wasn't Batman until like the last third of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So like that sucks. Not that because the movie is bad, but it just sucks because like you go there to watch Batman.
I guess you're thinking about it that way, because I was thinking before you made that statement that this is one of the best Batman movies where you can show Batman early on.
Yeah.
Where you make the statement that we don't even get Batman in the Christopher Nolan verse until later in the movie, which is technically correct, but it's like weird that I still think of him as Batman early in the movie.
I think Cody was saying.
No, I'm just saying like it's a weird thought process in my head of where it starts and where it is, because for me, like, this is one of the best early. Obviously this is more like a year one Batman type thing. We're showing him early, where I feel, even though we saw technically an earlier version of Batman in Christopher Nolan's Batman, because we got to see the training and him going to the League of Shadows and this and that, whatnot, he still felt like Batman from the beginning of the movie to me.
Yeah. Where in the Batman, it's technically year 2 of him being Batman, and he's obviously not finished with all the things, right? So when you go look at that one compared to the masterpiece that everyone agrees is The Dark Knight, is, I don't even have to say arguably, probably 100% one of the best Batman movies we will ever get. It's hard to beat that, how good that movie was, because of everybody was in it, obviously, and the love and care comes from a man who, obviously is a filmmaker ahead of time, blah, blah, blah. When we look at what James Gunn has ahead of him, obviously he's not making every film. He's only making, as of right now, he's only making one. Obviously, down the line, he's probably going to make more if they do good enough with them. What I'm interested in, and what gets me excited, is who else he's going to bring into the fold. Because we already know one, Andy Muschietti, is coming in. He's going to do the Brave and the Bold, which is the Batman and Robin story. And I think visually, he definitely can make a really good Batman movie, because for the of us who've seen The Flash, the stuff with Batfleck and with Keaton were fantastic Batman stuff. They were fun. And the best part, and I think I said this to Mike, because he's seen it and Joe has not, they felt like two different Batman movies, but they felt like Batman movies, if that makes any sense to you. Like Batfleck's Batman with the whole the Bat Cycle, and the whole fucking giant jet thing was dope. It was cool as fuck. It was rad. Keaton's Batman was definitely like the Tim Burton Batman, where like he's just ballsy and like he throws himself in front of bullets, and like he goes head first, starts doing kung fu kicks and fucking bouncing batarangs off of motherfuckers' faces and shit. But Batfleck is more of that hardened, I'm gonna punch you through your teeth until you give up Batman, which obviously we all love. Like it's great. But just looking at that and thinking, okay, I think that's a good thing to look forward to for the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and I'm excited to see who else James and Peter pull into this to do other movies, because they do obviously know quite a bit of people in there, and I'm more excited about what could happen. Am I 100% on board? No, but I'm definitely excited with little bits we're getting, and how. I mean, it depends. When we first see what he looks like, is going to be kind of the tipping point, because I don't want them to go one way or the other. Like, I loved Calville's suit and the aesthetic they made. I'm more excited to see how they go forward with it. You know what I mean? And to me, it's I don't know. It's an exciting thing. In a way, I wish James wasn't directing the first movie in it. Only because it's just, I don't want, and I know he said this, and I know it's more me rambling. He said every movie's gonna be different because of the director. So like his Superman Legacy movie is not going to dictate, well, shouldn't hopefully dictate the way the Brave and the Bold looks. You know what I mean? So I hope that's how it goes forward, because to Joe's point, he said this a lot of times about the DC or the MCU, and Mike was hitting at it earlier. After a certain set of movies, all of them started to kind of feel very similar in the aesthetics. You know what I mean? Like, I get it because it's all shared world, right? But if you look at the Thor movies and you look at the Captain America movies, they feel different. But once you got to Ragnarok, those ones felt more and more like Guardians.
Definitely.
And same thing with, like, even like when you look at like Quantumania, feels like it's more of a Guardians movie than it does even the first two Ant-Man movies. Because it was, I mean, granted, it's different. It's a different place and thing, but it didn't feel the same as a movie. Does that make any sense? Like, as the other ones did?
It makes sense to me, because I always go back to, like, my favorite Thor movie is the original Thor movie, because what it was it was a very interesting telling of the actual character. It was slightly lighthearted, but it wasn't a lot of goofy type of stuff. It was very much more straightforward, a little bit dark, but not too dark. You know, it was a very good, solid, rounded movie to me. But the further those movies went, and yeah, you had Thor: The Dark World, that literally was like, well, what if we take it into too dark? You know, so dark. What if we take it in so it's so dark the world is dark? Type of place. But every movie after that literally just felt like, well, I'm watching a Guardians movie. I like the Guardians movie, but like, I'm watching Thor. I want Thor movie, not Thor Guardians. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like Ragnarok. It's up there with one of my favorites.
It's an okay movie to me.
But the problem is, it's also one of those ones where that was where too many other characters started to bleed into the stories with the Hulk. And, like, the fact, I know what they were doing because they wanted to try to appease people, right? With a World War Hulk and whatever. You're not getting it. So you're at that point, you're just touching the tip versus actually, like, you know, stroking it and, you know, getting what you want out of it.
Yeah.
That reference was from Mike. That's why he started to smile when I said it. And from then on in, it was just this. And Civil War, you can point out Civil War is obviously like very much like an Avengers 0.5 movie, but it did a much better job of giving those characters their due versus where Ragnarok was just like Hulk was kind of just a set piece.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
And he wasn't needed for the story to continue on. You could have substituted him out for anybody else, and you could have had the same movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just that's one of those things like I kind of wish, and I know James is doing it differently because he's definitely interconnecting the worlds with all these different characters and having these linked stories, but again, going back to what he said in his announcement in January, every movie is going to be their own thing, but they're part of a bigger world. Where even the Spider-Man movies have essentially turned into more of a continuation of Iron Man movies, because they're not so much Spider-Man centric versus just he's a set piece in that world, and that world only revolves around Tony. Versus having the story solely about... I mean, granted, the story itself was about him, but there was so much of the Avengers stuff going on with that. That's how the Vulture got his gear, all that fun stuff. You know, it just... And obviously Tony shows up in it multiple times, which, don't get me wrong, was awesome. But I just wish it would have been...
A lot of the stories revolved around Tony, like Mysterio, Tony Stark stuff.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
I just wish it was more of just Spider-Man and Spider-Man's people. And granted, you can say Vulture got his technology because of that.
Fine.
Right?
It makes sense. It makes it make sense.
But when you go to and you bring up Mysterio is mad at Tony.
Yeah.
And he can't get back at Tony because Tony
is dead.
So, well, actually, at that point, he's not dead.
Was he not dead? No, I thought this wasn't this post snap.
Wasn't the second one was that post snap?
Yeah.
Because of all the murals and stuff they had on the walls and whatnot, and they're like,
I thought that was the third one.
His life for every. Well, the first one was.
Am I forgetting it?
First one was Vulture, right? Right?
Yeah.
Second one was Mysterio.
No.
Yeah.
Second one was Mysterio. Third one is
was the
multiverse
multiverse
one. Was the multiverse one, but I think number 2 still took place after the snap.
That's why he's with Happy the whole time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's what. Oh, the suit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So it's just, you know, it goes to the fact that like Mysterio's mad at Tony and not at Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's the new de facto like Iron Man, Stark, you know, whatever. So then he goes after him, but it's all, again, to your point, it's all revolves around Tony, not Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully going forward they get rid of that. Not to keep going here, but yeah, because obviously at the end of the third one they were, you know, basically snapped away everybody's memory of who Peter even is. So he's back to just being a kid. Now he's in an apartment. He no longer has Aunt May. She's dead at this point.
It doesn't
have any of the Tony Stark money and whatnot, so maybe we do in 4 we get your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man rather than your friendly neighborhood Iron Spider.
Yeah. Anyhow, I think that's it. Mike is rolled up and ready to go. I can tell. So
Mike's about to transform and roll out.
He's already rolled out for sure.
Oh, sorry, he rolled up. Now he's about to.
Yeah. Clever.
Anyhow, that's it for this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe,
Mike.
I have been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.